You've got one more celebration day, that's today. I know Boxing Day is kind of a national holiday in many countries, except for the US here, so I bet a lot of you have off, but we are back and hard at work. Well, it's Wednesday, it's Kate Richburg, and I am live from beadshop.com. It is great to see everybody on this very last, what do I want to say, last broadcast, I guess, of 2018. Here we are. I'm just going to double check and make sure that we are up and running and ready to go. Looks like we're up. I can see me on Facebook. Let's double check our beadshop.com feed on our YouTube channel, which I see, and then I'm just waiting for my notification, which just came in, so we're all set and ready to go. Alrighty, well, I'm Kate Richburg, I'm in front of the camera, and I've got Brandwin behind the camera, and I've got Janice doing some moderating on the East Coast, and all of our good thoughts go out to our friend Gita in Denmark, who also does a lot of our linking here on our Wednesdays and Fridays broadcasts. She is a little under the weather, had a little bit of a unfortunate incident in December, but she's on the mend and will be back to linking soon, and I bet she'll pop in to say hello to you guys as well. So it's great to see all of you guys. Well, I hope that you had a great holiday for those of you who celebrate. And I know here we had a great little time off. We all got some rest, and now we're back at it. I don't know about you guys, but end of the year always makes me want to start planning. So I had my planner out for 2019, and I started writing all kinds of cool stuff in it. Now I know, Janice, you're probably watching. She's like, oh my God, what have you written down for 2019? Well, it's all in here, you guys. First, we are looking at doing our move. A lot of you know this already, but just as a reminder, we are doing, we're moving offices, not far, really just across the freeway, but we'll be doing that starting around the 16th of January. So don't worry, online isn't closing, but we are doing a quick and fast move. So I'm really excited to share all of the exciting prospects we have for you coming up in 2019. So more on that. We're also going to do some live broadcasts as we're doing the move, so we'll take you with us every step of the way. Janice is going to be pinch hitting for a live broadcast in January while we get all of our beads that you see on our walls back up on the walls in our new space. So we've got a lot to do. So January is going to be super busy for us, but we're really excited to bring you along with that. I also wanted to mention we've got some other things, other projects and stuff coming up. December, now that December's coming into a close, we are focusing on the big event that's coming up, and that's our Tucson trip. I'm going to be teaching in Tucson at the Jogs show. My classes start on that Saturday, whatever that Saturday is, maybe the 2nd, I think, of February. I believe that is correct. Let me just pull up my calendar. Yes. Saturday the 2nd, and you can find all kinds of info on that if you just look up the Jogs, Jogs, show in Tucson and classes, and that stuff will pop right up as well. You can jump on and look at the Master's Talisman Project. That's an evening little soiree that's hosted by Bead and Button, the Bead and Button show. That's going to be there in Tucson as well. That's Monday night. You can also Google that, and Andrea will also add that into our episode notes. But we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up in Tucson. So if you're going to be in Tucson, let me know that you're going, and I'd love to hook up. Hopefully Emily's going to be there with me at least one day, and we'll do some broadcasting and stuff there. So Tucson is always fun. It's always crazy to get ready for it. So we're getting ready. It'll be good times. So that's what I've got here. I also wanted to mention there was something else. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention. I put it on my list so I wouldn't forget. So many of you emailed in and on our group page, our bead shop group page on Facebook, the bead shop community, the bead table. So many of you wished us all happy holidays and all kinds of good stuff. And so we really, really wanted to say thanks for all of your good wishes. And someone especially, I was giving my holiday call to my mom yesterday, and she said, what I want you to do tomorrow when you're live on the air is say thanks for all of the great holiday wishes and Merry Christmas to everyone. So that one comes right to you, right from my mom, and she's probably watching. So now I've done my daughterly duty, which is good. I won't get in trouble. Well, it looks like everybody's here, right, Brandon? So many people are here and jumping in.
Dria's here.
Yay, Dria's here. Yay, awesome. That's great. That's great.
And
That's
of
great.
course, all of our wonderful regulars.
Our wonderful regulars, and hopefully some new people as well. And Drea also put on the feed, and I wanted to let you guys know, Drea has gone rogue and has decided that it is double points through the broadcast and up to an hour after the show ends today. So when you guys place your orders, and I've got another little something for you at the end of the broadcast as well. So we're doing double points today for about an hour, from about 10:30, which is now, through the end of the broadcast. So for about, I don't know, 2.5 hours or something, or till the hour after the show ends. It'll end at about 1 p.m. Pacific time. For those of you who aren't familiar with our Loyalty Points program, I wanted to give a quick shout out to, I guess, us, to what a great Loyalty Points program it is. You can click right onto our website at beadshop.com. You click on Loyalty Points. There's a little Loyalty Points icon or a little link at the very bottom of our page. And that'll bring you to our Loyalty Points fact page, and you can read all about it. But essentially, all you do is it's really easy to enroll, and every purchase that you make gets you a loyalty point, right? Sometimes we have double points, sometimes we have other kind of premiums and stuff that we do with that. Well, so many of you have loved it, and we have really done a lot of great rewards and stuff with our Loyalty Points program. What's coming in 2019, I want to let you guys know, is we're adding a new loyalty tier. So right now we have copper, we have silver, and we have gold. We're going to be adding another loyalty tier, and more info on that will be coming in 2019. Those of you who were in our gold and silver tiers, I hope that you enjoyed some of your holiday rewards that were very special for you guys. And if you haven't reached that tier level yet, today's a great day to keep building up your points, because the higher you go in our tier levels, the more like little exciting treats we have for you. So it's great. It's kind of a fun way to say thank you for your loyalty to us. So we really, really appreciate it. So that's what I've got here. I think we will jump in, since we've got so much to go over. I've got new products. We're going to play around with the strap leather. So let me put my planner to the side. And let's get this show on the road, shall we? Great. So let's go ahead and move this around so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And we're going to plug this in. Great. Let's get that in so you guys can see what's happening. There we go. Great. Perfect. Okay. So we've got it. And yeah, you guys can always, if you yeah, Drea's saying, okay, I totally lied, Drea. I told them you went rogue, but we went rogue together. I know. I was fibbing, but it sounds so much better when I say that you go rogue, right? It's so true. Alrighty, so let's take a look at what we've got going on over here. So I have the project here that I want to show you guys. And you know, a while back, Janice and I were looking at our strap leather selection. And one of the things that I really love about the strap leather is that it's super versatile, and I think it really makes a big impact even if you don't do a lot of embellishing on it, right? I actually hadn't worked with this strap leather until I actually came back to beadshop.com, and I fell in love with it right away. You know, Janice's trail ride that she wears all the time, that you see her wear, that's made with our natural strap leather. And the natural strap leather is just kind of a beautiful, as it says, natural, untanned leather, and the more you wear it, the better it looks. So that was kind of my introduction to it. Well, we were looking at our the different leathers that we carried, and we decided to add a few new ones. So I want to show you what we have in our new leather, because I just love it so much. And it's a great, you know, it's a great material to work with and to just knock out a quick, fast, and easy project. So we've got, I think we got 5 new ones, 6 new ones if I'm not mistaken. And so let me lay them out here so you guys can see everything. So here's our Hypnotic. This is a brand new one. It's a black and white, very graphic, very kind of 80s, very, I really dig it. Cara and I love this one a lot. We've got this guy here. This is called Aquarium. Kind of a tropical in feeling to it. I thought it was a great, it has a little bit of that lime, pop of lime neon, which I really loved. This one is called Pastel Mosaic. That's this bad boy right here. And this Pastel Mosaic has just what it says, some kind of a mosaic design with some interesting pastel purple and pink and stuff like that. So, okay.
Just up a little
Well,
bit.
I'm going to add some more. So, I've got this guy here. This one is called Tropical Forest. And I love the combination of teal and red. And then I've got this guy, this gray snake, also a black and white, and it mixes, I think, really interestingly with this Hypnotic, this guy here. And then last but not least, the one that I did the project with, this guy is called Impressions. All right, so it's pretty cool. So, and the Impressions is kind of a silver and gold mix, which is pretty awesome. So I really like them. I like these all a lot. So I think these look, I think they look really nice, and they mix pretty nicely with some of the, whoops, sorry, I hit the camera there, some of the ones that we currently sell. What I'm really digging right now, someone put up the leather and looming project that I did a while back, and the leather and looming was simply strap leather that was paired with some really thin, I think it was like a 3 across or 4 across little loomed piece that I did. And the project looked great, and what she used was this black studded leather, which I really, really liked. And look at how great it mixes, this black studded leather mixes with these black and white colors. This is the Hypnotic. Look at how cool that is. And this is the snake. It also mixes pretty nicely, I think, with this guy here, the Tropical Forest, as well as the one that I was using today, this Impressions. So the black studded leather, I think, is great with it. I also pulled one that doesn't get a lot of love, and I'm not sure why. Maybe it's just because we don't pull it out as often as we should. But here is this creamsicle leather, and they call it distressed leather, and it's distressed because it has a little bit of a kind of distressed quality on the surface of the leather. But look at how good, you guys, it looks with this Aquarium, right? So if you need a little dose of something like bright and tropical in your life, these two would look really well together. As well as this, the mosaic, the pastel mosaic, works really nicely with this creamsicle. If you want to tone it down a little bit and maybe not have something so so light or pastel-y, I also pulled this, I think this is the light brown strap, this guy here. And the light brown, I think, works also really nicely with both of these, and it gives it kind of a natural kind of look to it. So if you go to all of our strap leather category, you'll see all the different strap leathers. And Kim is asking, is creamsicle natural or coated? Well, it's all natural leather, Kim. They've just been dyed. So this one has been dyed, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a little, I don't know, it's hard to, I can't even really see the difference between, if I can show you. Here's the distress leather, this creamsicle, and then here's the regular brown. You can see along, and maybe it's a little bit easier to show you on the spool. Sometimes
Maybe
there's,
lift it a little bit. Maybe that one.
there we go. Sometimes there's a little bit of intentional kind of roughing, I guess, on the surface. So that's what makes this distressed. But it has a great look to it. I like it a lot. I think it's cool. And there was another question Leslie has, can it be embossed? You know, Leslie, if you're talking about like stamped with leather stamps, it probably will not hold that leather stamping. The best thing if you're using leather stamping would be just a natural, like an untanned vegetable leather, and these aren't really conducive to the stamping. And you can see here on the other side of this, the kind of untanned side, that's kind of what you're looking for. So you could try it. You could get yourself a length of maybe even the natural leather and try stamping on the opposite side. But this is a good, I don't know, maybe a good topic for the future about maybe, you know, playing around with some more leather. So thanks for asking that question. It's a good one. But they're all pretty supple. They're all pretty easy and straightforward. And they're even the ones, you guys, these Italian, these are all Italian, these guys that have been printed. And we have had some questions about this. You know, some of these that we've made a while back. And I'll show you this one. Unfortunately, we are out of this one currently, and I'll talk a little bit about that. This is our Fleur de Paris, also printed. But we've really kind of put these through the paces and kind of played around with them. All of this, this printed leather is very stable. It doesn't scratch, it doesn't rub off. So all of these surfaces are really, the technology is so advanced to get these printed images on this leather. The other thing that I wanted to mention, since this leather is Italian leather and it is kind of in high demand, when we run out of these, unfortunately, sometimes they get back ordered, and they get back ordered for a while. I know you guys have been waiting for this Fleur de Paris, as well as everyone's favorite. This one is the Fireworks leather. Those both, I've talked to our supplier, and they assure me that we should see these back in January. But the thing about these printed leathers, like I said, is once they go out, sometimes, you know, we reorder them right away, but that back order just takes a while to fill. So when you do see them in stock, my advice is to jump on it, because they may not be back in for a while. So thanks for your patience with those. Like everything that we do carry at beadshop.com, you can put yourself on a notification list and get a notification, an email notification when we put them back in stock. When they do get back in stock, like I said, jump on it, because it's you and a bunch of other people waiting for it. So we really appreciate that you love them so much, and we try and keep them as in stock as we can. So again, thanks for your patience on it. But these are coming back. I'm telling you, I promise. They're coming back in. Okay. So let's start to take a look at the project itself, and then I'm going to show you some other things that are kind of riff on this. But let's look at this guy first, okay? This is the reunion project that I made, and I used our brand new leather, our brand new one called Impressions. And what I did was I just got that meter. We sell it by the meter, the Impressions leather, all of our strap leather we sell by the meter. And what I did was I just cut a couple of lengths, and if you'll notice, you guys, we have these new, brand new, these are called our rectangle loop ends. They're a 10 millimeter. Okay, I'm going to pull this over here. Familiar with our 5 millimeter loop ends, these guys, right? And you've seen we've used these in our Prairie Projects and a lot of different leather projects as well. But we're super excited to be able to offer a 10 millimeter version of it, so we can get the 2 strands of leather right in there and glue them in. So what I did with this guy was I started by just kind of cutting an arbitrary length. I know that my wrist length is about 6.5 inches, and I knew I had a little bit of play with this because since it has chain doing the closure, I could play with my length, adjusting my length with this. So I really didn't sweat it, and I just made this, I'll tell you, let me get the tape measure out here. From door to door, as I like to say, I made this about 6 3/4, okay, because I knew I'd need a little bit of extra length. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut 6 3/4. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one because I love it too, this Tropical Forest. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one. Now, the way that I cut this, and you guys might think this is a little unorthodox, but I think it's a really great way to do it. I cut my leather using my flush cutter a lot of times. This is just my Xuron, my regular Xuron Maxi Shear flush cutter. I'm going to come in, and at a right angle, I'm just going to come in and make a nice clean cut. Okay? And you can see it just gives me a nice straight across cut, a nice surface so I can attach my glue, and I'm good to go. All right. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this one at 6.5 inches because I can add a little bit more if I need to with my jump rings. Yeah, 6.5. So I used 2 strands, so 6.5 here. I'm going to clip. Done. And 6.5 on this side. And done. Now, we've got a ton of sliders to use in this project. I used my good old favorite, the Home Run, right? I love the Home Run. It comes in a little bag of, I think it comes in a bag of 5. I think it's a beautiful way to just add a simple bit of metal to the strap leather. I love it, and that's what I used here. I also pulled in some other sliders, and you can see this one is called Flowers Within, and it comes in the copper, looks like that. We also have it in silver and in the brass, which looks pretty amazing. All of those will work really nicely. I think a slider is nice as just a little, I don't know, a little accent, I guess. In our Prairie projects that we have, and I'm just looking to find something here real quick that I want to show you guys here. Hey, Myra, would you mind getting me a package of the Home Run and the antique copper? Please and thank you. I want to show you guys what this might look like. Thanks, Myra. There's always something I want, right, that I don't have. We're going to examine all the prairies and stuff in a minute, but I want to show you guys this, how this pulls together. I also, so here are the Home Runs here. We have these brand new, and I alluded them to you. Thanks, Myra, you're the best. Here's our Home Run in copper. Look how pretty they are. I also alluded to these last week when we worked with the new nun design things. These are oval jump rings, which I love, and I thought, what the heck, you know? Why not use these as little sliders? We have a slider, it's not Evolve. What's that? I think they're just called sliders, right? Let me see what that one is.
I think you're correct.
Just sliders.
Sliders,
Right? Sliders, I think is
A
what
little
they
bit
are.
larger and
Yeah.
not coiled.
Yeah, they're called,
Sliders.
yep, sliders. That's what they're called. And we've used them a lot on different prairie projects. And I thought that these really mimicked the sliders, but they also do double duty as a jump ring that I used in closing up this piece as well. So to start, what I did was I glued these guys in place. So let me glue one so you guys can see how this works. Now, gluing is kind of my forte. I have always loved to glue. It's always kind of been something that I like to do. And with glue, you guys, you want to be real careful. You actually want, I want this to go on the back side. Less is more when we're gluing, okay? And what we want to do is try and control that glue so that glue doesn't go everywhere as we're making the piece, okay? So I'm going to use this Zap glue. I'm going to just squeeze out a little bit here right onto my baggie, all right? And I'm going to glue my first Home Run slider into place. So can you see it's right there? That one right there. So I'm going to find kind of, and I don't need to measure, I think just visually, I'm going to find the center of my leather. Now, the Home Run, it's a little difficult to see, but I'm going to put this one on its side. You can kind of see that it does have a top that's slightly curved and a bottom which is flat. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that I glue them correctly. I'm going to put this guy on. I'm going to look and see this looks like about the middle. And notice how I'm working on the back, you guys. So any extra glue that might float out is going to float out on the back. Okay, so I'm going to slide this guy on. I'm pushing the leather down so I clear as much of that as I can. See how it's kind of shoved it to the side? So I get my toothpick and I kind of shove that glue underneath, and I shove a little bit under there, right? And I use the good clean end of my toothpick to kind of get it all in there. Okay, then I'm going to turn it all around and I'm going to let this sit. Now the Zap sets up real quick. Okay, so while that's setting, notice how I just put my little plates on there to kind of hold the leather down where I want it to be. And so we're just going to let that sit, and I'm going to open up some jump rings here. Now with the oval jump rings, it's like those round jump rings that I used last week. Okay, and I am going to just open up a bunch. They come, the way jump rings come, they like to nest together. It's just kind of how it is, right? So you have to just spend some time unnesting, opening everything up. And I think in between the sliders that I did, I put in 5 jump rings, oval jump rings. You can put as many as you want. You can put different sliders in, you do you. But what I'm going to do is close all these up. So I've got a whole bunch that are ready to go while that glue is setting. And we want to make sure as we're closing these that the two little sides, the two little feet of the jump rings come right together to close. And I'm using my bent chain and my regular chain. And don't worry, you guys, I've got a bunch of the Prairie Projects that are here sitting in front of me. I'm going to go over those in a little bit, and I've got a couple of little tricks to share with you guys there, because this project goes together so quickly that I wanted to show you some other tricks as well. So let's take a look at our friend over here that I've glued, and you can see I would like this to kind of cure overnight so it's nice and done, but it looks like I'm in pretty good shape here that I could add those other jump rings. I'm just going to use the end of my toothpick to get rid of any little extra, but you can see the top of the piece looks nice and pristine. So I'm going to put on, let's see, 2, 4, 6. I'm going to close, actually. I need 10. So let me close these up. Nice and closed. The quality of these jump rings, I just really like them. They're nice and big. They're real sturdy. Janice and I played with them a lot in that celebration lariat we did last week. The ends are nice and flush, so they really hold on nicely. 2, 4, 6, 8, 2 more. This guy here. And we have a great tutorial on our skill builders that talks about opening and closing jump rings. If you haven't been to our skill builders over on beadshop.com, I don't know what you're waiting for. Well, wait for the end of the broadcast and then go. But I think you will find a lot of really great instruction over there. So, okay, so I'm going to push this glue out of the way, and so now I'm going to put on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on this side, and I'll do that over here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now notice here how all of the openings on the jump rings, with the exception of that naughty one right there that I'm going to take off and flip over. There we go. All of those openings are on the back, so on the front they're nice and smooth. Okay. So now I'm going to come in and lock those jump rings in with these home runs here and here. Okay, so let me glue those in place. Again, flip it over. And again, visually, I'm just going to make the connection here, or the measurement. I'm not going to worry about it too much to actually have it measured. You can measure at home if you want, but I'm not gonna.
Do you know what Mike wants to know what the gauge or the wire the jump rings are?
It's a good question. It's about a 16 gauge, I think. If you look in the product description, it's probably there, but to my trained wire eye, I think it's 16 gauge. Plenty so that it does not pull apart. So I've extruded a little more zap right here, grabbing it with my trusty toothpick, placing where I want it. Again, not too much. A little zap goes a long way. You can also bring it down over the sides a little bit, like so. Get your home run, making sure that the curved end is down so it hits the front, and then coax this guy back into place. Coax it, See how it pushes a little bit of the glue ahead of it? That's okay. You're just going to tell that glue, go back in there, take a little bit off, add a little more to the opposite end, and push it back. I'll do the same thing over here. Do I have enough glue? Get a little bit more of that zap right there. Zap is a great thing for adhering metal to leather. We use it, I don't know, for everything, really. And again, before I returned to beadshop.com, I did not know of this Zap glue, and I am a true convert. I love it. I use it all the time. Over here on this side, over here on this side, curved side down, slide that sucker on. Perfect. Now I'm going to flip everything over because I want gravity to do its thing. And I'm going to kind of tamp it down with those little cups. You can find little weights at home, what work for you. Push everything down to make sure that's good to go. Okay? Now, we don't have to add them this way. Okay? What I did when I actually made this piece, though it's a lot easier to add them this way, when I made this piece, I just glued all of the home runs in place. And then I looked at it and I said, oh, I think it needs something else. So I added the rings. I opened them up and put them around the leather. So you could do that too, right? You could, if you've made this, glued everything in place, and then you add the jump rings at a later date, that's fine too. No big deal. You can also just add, you could start by gluing your strap leather into the end, which is what I'm going to do right here. I've got these guys going, and I'm going to make this maybe a, I don't know, should I do this maybe a multi-color, or maybe I'll do silver, because I'll use silver chain. So I'll get this one, and do I have a second side? There it is, it's right there. So I'll mix up the copper and the silver for this one, because this also, I think, to me, screams mixed metals. So I'm going to jump in with that. So here's these guys. I'm going to go ahead and glue these in. Now, let's take a look. This is that 10mm end. And I also grabbed, hey Myra, I never grabbed the 10mm back from you. Could I have one or the other of those 10mm straps I gave you?
Yeah.
Please and thank you. You're the best. So you can see this opening here. It has plenty of room for the leather, and we could add those 2 5mm side by side. But we also carry 10mm strap, which doesn't always get the love I think it does, or it should. And now, thanks Myra, now that we have this closure, I think it's perfect. So this is our brown 10mm. And look at that, you guys, how perfectly it goes in there. Okay, it's just really great. I think it looks awesome. So you can use this one to close that one off also. So we have the 10mm strap in a bunch of different colors as well. Okay, so this guy, I'm going to go ahead and I've made sure that I have a nice straight across cut. Let's go ahead and glue this one in. Bring this guy back, get my zap, squeeze again a little bit out onto my, this zap is almost done for, but I want to use every bit of zap in the tube. I would go ahead and buy zap by the twos, so that if you are gluing at home and you run out, you don't have to wait. They're not expensive. Just have yourself, you know, a backup. Like, remember when we always wore nylons and we always said in our handbag we always had a pair and a spare, right? Well, have a single and a spare with this zap, right? Because then you'll never run out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach, I'm going to put a little bit of glue right, again, I'm working on the back of the strap leather so it doesn't smush out onto the front. That's the way to do it here. On the side, on the top, on that nice clean cut, right? And this guy on this side here. Okay. There it all is. Now we're just going to slide that sucker right in, making sure that the leather is hitting the back of the clasp component. And let's see how this one's doing over here. Yeah, these are good. I can go ahead and glue this one in too. Let me get my zap on the end, on the back. Toothpicks are your best friend. Thanks to my mom for sending me this little toothpick holder that I use all the time. And we're just going to slide that one into it right next door. We're going to use that tip of that toothpick just to get that little bit of extra there. But notice how when I turn it over, it's real clean. There's not a lot of extra. It's all ready to go. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment here because again I want this to cure a bit, and then we'll play around with getting those other two on there and closing it off. Okay. You can also, though, if you want, let's say that you wanted to get kind of all of the bones, kind of the skeleton of this created, you could slide, which is actually what I might do, slide that guy on, slide that guy on. You can come back in later and slide these into place. I don't want that too close because I don't want it to disturb my glue. But if I want to keep working, maybe I should glue this other side. So make sure that's nice and even. And let me just see on this side here, these two need to be even, so I'm going to be real careful. Real careful here. Cut a little bit away. There we go, nice and even. Get a little more zap and glue that side in, and then I can set it all aside. Then I'll be ready to move on in just a moment. So flip everything over. Whoops, try not to flip it in your glue. Not so good. There we go. Be real careful getting this on the back, and I'm going to glue both of these at the same time because I'm a daredevil. That one here, that here, also on the sides. You don't want to be slapdash about gluing, you guys. You really have to be very mindful when you're putting this glue in, because gluing can get a little messy. And if you don't really put the glue exactly where it needs to be and, you know, use the right amount, it can just be a mess. So we don't want that to happen. So this is ready to go. Ready to kind of sit to the side, so I'm going to put it there. And let's look at some of our Prairie projects. You know, Karen is the queen of Prairie, we like to say here at beadshop.com. She has done so many fantastic Prairie projects. And Prairie essentially is a flat leather, and we've used these 10mm clasps. Let me get this one open. We've used these 10mm clasps, glued the flat leather in, and then you just go for it, okay? We have different sliders on here that are glued into place, and then you macrame. You can macrame plain, like this. You can macrame with beads along the outside. We're using regular seal on here for the macrame. And then you just jump in and add different sliders. This was a fun piece that Karen did with all the hearts. Needs a little bit of polishing, but I don't mind actually the tarnished look of it as well. And it's really, I think, really, really beautiful. I want to show you this guy here. And any of these, you guys, any of our clasps and stuff that we're not listing or whatever, our search engine is really easy on the website. You can just go in to beadshop.com, and if you click up on components, and after you click on components, you'll see a category for clasps. And once you click on clasps, if you, on the left-hand bar, there's a little different types that you can choose. If you click on magnetic clasps, all the magnetic clasps are going to come up, okay? And so you'll have a lot to choose from, including, you guys, this half circle magnetic clasp. And I wanted to show you guys this. It has some of these nun design hoops that we love. Also, again, kind of hard to keep in stock. We have a bunch that are coming to us, but we do have some in stock currently. But these are great. But this C clasp, or half circle magnetic clasp, I just love. And it's really great for this modified prairie. We did this prairie a while back. Janice and I did. And it's a single strand because this is a 5mm opening that we have here. And you can see Janice did this really killer macrame that I kind of call the beaded bridge, that has the beads over the top, as well as you do the beads down the sides. And it's a really, really cool one. This would be great to incorporate into, I think, this kind of a project too, to have some beads here in the center. And so I wanted to show you, while this one is still sitting, well, let me actually put this guy together and then let's revisit that one. So this looks like it's ready to be continued on with. And so the chain that I did, you guys love it as much as we love it. We call it the Love of Lydia chain, since it's so vintage and antique looking, that Janice knew that her mom would have just loved, loved, loved this chain. So we called it for the Love of Lydia, which is in honor of Janice's mom. Now I want you to see how I connected this. Okay, because sometimes it's a little bit of a stumper. You're like, how the heck am I going to connect that? Notice here, you guys, that let's see, the jump rings, I'm going to use these copper ones. Notice here how I've connected using 2 jump rings. Okay, I'm going to open this up.
Your mom and Carol are having Bloody Marys, and she wants a shout out.
Oh, well, sounds good to me, Ma. Yeah. Hello.
Celebrating Boxing Day, right?
All right, sounds good to me. Why aren't we having crafting and Bloody Marys together? That's what I want to know. All righty, so see how I'm connecting this one? A single? But look at how big that loop is. I can get 2 in there. And the 2, really, see how 1 looks a little, oh, not so exciting. But 2, one next to the other, makes it a little heftier. Look at that. Look at how much nicer that looks together. And then to connect it to the Lydia chain, let me get this little thing back on there. I took away one of the Lydia links. And I simply did that. The chain, this Lydia link chain, these are not soldered, right? So I can open this up, pull it open just a little, and slide it off, maybe just a little bit more. Oh, nice. Slide it off. Then I can keep this Lydia link. I could close it back up. I could also, let me see if it slides on leather. I don't know. Let me see here. Look at that. You could use those as sliders. Oh, nice. How fun, right? So nothing goes to waste. Okay. So what I have here is this nice ring that I can connect to right there. So let me open these guys back up. 1 and 1, one of these guys, open, slide it on that loop, and close. Chain is so versatile, you guys, especially the heavier links. Maybe if you look at the chain and you're like, I would never use chain that's that heavy. Well, you don't have to use it all as one chain. You can use it as its component parts as well. That works really, really nice, really nicely for so many different applications. So see what we've got there? That's done and done, ready to go. I think I need, I wasn't really thinking about what I needed, but I think I need the crossed arrows in silver. Yeah, you want to grab it, Bran? Because I could use the brass one, but let's use it in silver, okay? And where I connected it, let's take a look. This little loop, there was plenty of room to add it, and I loved this crossed arrows charm. We also have it in the Honeybee, also by Nun Design, also has kind of that organic look, so if bees are more your thing, you can use that. But I'm really digging on these arrows. So let me just go ahead and attach it right now. And you know what, Bran, I'm going to need while you're doing that? We're going to need the swivel clasp also in silver.
Oh.
And let me get it in shiny silver, I think, because these are kind of shiny, if you don't mind. Because you know what happens when you make this up off the top of your head. You're not always, you haven't always pulled everything you need. So here's that one. Okay. So now here comes the part where, thanks, Bran. Here comes the part where, oh, maybe I want an antique. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right.
I have a feeling when you looked at it, you
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You know what I like. So I think I'm actually going to use that one. So now here comes the point where you can size this to fit you. Okay, so I'm going to attach this on this side right now. And see how I use the 2 jump rings there and then the single jump ring. Okay, so let me get these guys. The single. And then another single. So let's put this one in. Open it up so it's big enough. There we go. Put this in. Close it. We'll do the same thing here with this one. Open it up. Close it. Fits beautifully in there. Let's make sure that they're both facing the same way with that opening. Okay, like that. Then I'm going to do a single. This guy here. This is the swivel clasp, the large swivel. I can't say enough about it. You guys have heard me go on and on about it. I heart it so much, especially for pieces like this that are kind of immobile, like the strap leather. It's not super stiff, but you know, it's not like something that's beaded or whatever that has a lot of suppleness to it. So this swivel clasp can swivel around, and it makes it really, really comfortable to wear. So now I'm just going to wrap this around my wrist and see. This is just how I did it when I was measuring. Get this around one more time. So I just need this really to be a double wrap. So I'm going to wrap it around, and so I know, as I kind of fumble around with it here, right? You know what this feels like, right? So you kind of fumble around. You can kind of visualize, okay, there's my closure. I'm going to need I'm going to add a little bit of length with jump rings that I'm putting around. So I think right here is where I can end it. Okay, and I'll give you a measurement, a real life measurement on this, but let me just take this off. Again, I don't have to clip it. I can just open it up, right? And then I can use it as a slider. See how I've got my bent chain and my regular chain nose? Give it a little bit of an open. There we go. Take this one off, set it aside to use as a slider later. And let me give you some dimensions here. That's about, the chain's about 6.5 inches, which is about right. This is a little bulky, so I need a little bit of an extra length. So I'm going to add these links. You can see I needed a little bit of extra. See how I cut that a little bit shorter than this one? But it was no big. I just added extra lengths here at the end. So you can elongate it with these ovals if you mistakenly cut it too short, like I did when I made this sample. Okay, so I just happen to have 3 right here. So let me open this guy up, free it up, slide it on the end of I Love Lydia, and that one there for the love of Lydia, whatever we're calling it, the Lydia chain. And then capture both of those in this. Done and done. Now, when I come around, let me see if I can get this on there, get this on my wrist. When I come around to put this on, you can see, turn it a little bit, you can see if I need to adjust it at all, I can take out another link here, you know, whatever works for you. But it's kind of fun to have the clasp, all of this stacked up. If you don't want the charm here, you could add the charm anywhere along the chain that you liked. But look at how fun that even that side of the stack looks. So you could add this charm wherever. I kind of liked it at the end, but if you like it hanging off somewhere in here, you could do that too. Okay, I think it looks pretty darn good. Let me take this off. If I can get this off. Come on, hands. Come on, there we go. So it's pretty cool. And you can make this, I have this being a 2 wrap, right? But you could continue adding another section of this by just connecting another 10mm loop end. You could get 2 more straps of 5mm leather, or a single strap of 10mm, you know, whatever floats your boat. You could also use, see what I've got here, I pulled in these looped leather ends. You could do a single, and this brown looks kind of cool in there. Put that, right? So you could continue with another wrap like we did with this other special prairie here that has some of the beaded stuff. So you could do so much with this. This is a project where I really want you guys to kind of break out of the mold and jump in. We do still have some time, so I wanted to show you really quickly how this beaded stuff works up, okay? Because we do still have a little bit of time, and I've got it all prepared here to share with you. Okay, so I'm going to put these to the side, and I'm going to get my design board, and we'll get that design board here, and I'll just go ahead, and since I have this brown leather here, maybe that's what I'll use. I don't know. I'm going to work on the short end. And how much am I going to cut, you're asking? I have no idea. What happened to my tape measure? It was here a second ago. It seriously, wasn't it, Brandon? Yeah. It went on the floor, where all good things go. To the floor.
Natural habitat.
Natural habitat, right? So I'm going to cut, if this is going to wrap around twice or so, I'll cut about 14 inches-ish. Maybe 14 plus a little bit. So I have some to work with. And I'm going to clip this away. And when you do this beaded macrame, and again, Janice and I have done this several times on several Facebook Lives, right? But I really wanted to show you this, just again to give you a little bit of a refresher, because it's so good. So I'm going to get a little bit of plastic baggie to protect this strap leather that I'm pinning to the board. And maybe I don't want it to be so... Now, if you glue this into something, you could attach it, like if I were going to glue it into here. Right? I could glue it and then attach it to the board. That way might be a little bit easier. But just as an quick off-the-cuff thing. Or, you know, if you don't like that bulkiness, I'm going to use the thread that I'm going to macrame with. Another way to connect this to the board. And we have a really good, I don't know why I'm using those cutters. Use the right tools, Richburg. There we go. How to attach a project to a board. There's a lot of good information there. I could just make this loop, like so. Bring it around the leather, like so. Get nice and tight there. And then clip it. Give myself a little more of a lead there. There we go. So that's ready to go. Actually, I want to get this nice and tight. Because everything when you're macrameing has to be pretty tight. Like that. And then I can just clip it down here with the baggie on this opposite end. Okay. Now this is regular Ceylon, like I said before. This color is called Celadon. One of my faves. And I just pulled the color. I looked at something that kind of went with that, right? Kind of goes. Works for me. I'm going to use my board as my measuring device. Your deep dish design tray is 14 inches long. So I'm going to go 3 of those. Because honestly, I have no idea how long I'm going to make this, right? My friend Beth used to say when I had my bead store, we always had customers that would come in and say, you know, how long do I make so-and-so? You know, and so we had a customer who came in and she said, Kate, how long do I make a lariat? My friend Beth was there. And without batting an eye, my friend Beth said, until it's done. So when people ask, Kate, how much thread should I do? Should I cut? I always say, I don't know. As much as you need till it's done, right? So you just have to kind of guesstimate. But 4 times 14 inches works for me. Notice how I'm making my little needles here. I've done this a million times, right? You've seen me do this. I've got my zap glue on the inside. I'm kind of smushing it into the ends of my threads. And I'm using it like a little squeegee. And pulling it aside, I'm going to let those dry real quick. I'll show the bracelets again, but Dale, you asked the bracelet on. I'll go ahead and I'll put it on one more time before the end of the show. But you can see it just wraps around there and closes. But I'll put it back on my wrist before the end of the broadcast. The zap sets up pretty quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and clip fresh ends on these guys. And I pulled, this is the 4221. It's the pewter. I think it's a galvanized pewter that I pulled. It's an 8/0. You could use a 6, but an 8 is perfect for this, I think. Okay. And you just start. really. Find a place. And you've seen me macrame. Get to about the middle of your threads. About the middle. That's about the middle. And I'm just going to start to macrame. And we have a good macrame basics on beadshop.com, but essentially I'm making a loop. This side is, the loop looks like a P. The other thread goes over that leg of the P, under the leather, and out through the loop of the P. Now we'll go to the Q side. Like every first step of something you're doing, the first few stitches always give you a little bit of sass, so you just want to kind of get in there. Here's the Q side. You can see it looks like a Q. Over the thread, under the leather, out through the loop and tighten. So essentially this is the flat knot, macrame flat knot, that we use in pretty much everything we do here at beadshop.com. But it's an oldie but a goodie, so it's all good. So here's the two. So two of these makes one complete macrame flat stitch. So I'll do one more. Going to the right and now the left. Alrighty. So now, if you wanted to add beads to the side, I'm going to add one size 8 bead to one side and one, whoops, that one's knotted. And everything you see here, you guys, everything I'm working with, if you just go straight to beadshop.com, including our boards, including our tools, all of that, if you just go to beadshop.com and you click on the Facebook Live project, it'll have everything for the project. This board isn't included in the project, but we call this our deep dish design tray. And if you just type into the search box deep dish, it'll come right up. We have in two depths, I guess, a deep dish and extra deep. This is the deep dish one here. So see, I'm put on my beads on both sides. Now I'm just going to tie, continue macrameing as if. And you could pre-string these so you don't have to string them on every time and just slide them up. But look at how nice that zap glue makes those needles. Okay, slide them on down and then tie the macrame knot on the opposite end, opposite side rather. Okay, so you can do it like this, right, and have a lot of opening. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is, let me slide those down. I'm going to complete that knot and then I'll slide those beads up. There we go. A little more closed. Now I'll slide these guys up and get these going. Okay, and you could do these in however many sets you like. This is just a set of 2 here. Let me tie another couple and I'll show you how to do that little beaded bridge, because come on, beaded bridge.
And Pat was
rocks.
saying if you just loop it on one side, it spirals, right?
That's correct.
I think we've seen that before.
Yep. If we just tie the knot in one direction, we get a spiral. Not always, I don't know, you could try it on the flat leather for sure. See if that worked out for you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put 2 on like this, and I'm going to send the other thread back through. So it's created a bridge. Check it out, just like that. Okay, now I'm just going to macrame. Bring it around, macrame it over. Complete that macrame knot on the other side. I'll do one more. See if it gets kind of, see, it's giving you a little sass. Just tighten it up. Tighten this one up. Now we'll put those beads on again. Again, I'm using regular Ceylon, and the color is Celadon, one of our most popular colors. I just love it. And so see, thread goes in one way and in the other. You could use a needle for this, but I'm finding that the zap glued ends are just fine. So see, tighten them both up. And then macrame that guy. And I think the beaded bridge is awesome. And then I could go back. I think I tied 2 knots. Again. Like so. And then we could go back to the knotted ones on the side. I know I'm going to do 2, so I'll go ahead and put 2 beads on one side and down, and 2 beads down on the other. Now this, I think, also looks great. This would look great on the pattern leather also, right? Just really strategically placed, especially this pattern leather that we have now. A lot of them have kind of a very graphic look and feel to them. So I think that they would really hold their own with some macrame. So try it out. You know, if you don't dig it, it's no big deal. Just cut it away. It's all right. You know, a little bit of investment in thread and time, but it's not the end of the world. If it's not right, just cut it up and take it off. So then, I think I did then with 4. So let's make this symmetrical. So to close this off, and you guys might want to go back and rewatch some of our Prairie episodes. But I just want to show you how I might close it off, and that's when these smaller sliders come into play. Because it's a great way to glue your ends in. This would make a great kind of in the center piece of your project. I think I just need one more here. There we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I need one more over here. Let's make it symmetrical, right? I don't know. Let's just do it. There we go. Perf. So now something like this, it's tightened there pretty tightly, so you can't really move it around. But I do have a little bit of extra leather here on this end, so you can kind of play around with it. So, but now this closure, what I can do is I'm going to untuck it there, and I'll get a home run or any slider, whatever it is. Okay. You can just go ahead and add some glue underneath. And close it off that way. If you wanted, you can see I can get it in there. And slide it all up, glue it, and that's all you need to do. Or what you could do also, and I should have been thinking ahead and I wasn't, but that's okay. You can get your collapsible eye needles, and we've done this in several broadcasts, where you grab the collapsible eye needle and you string it, and you just put the, I don't think those are those either. Do you want to get me the Beetle-On needles brand? We call it kind of the Ali Mori trick, where you can bury these tails right underneath. Let me just show you. Pull that off. That's perf. Thanks. Oh no, those are looming needles. You can just bring them underneath here, and you can do that. I wonder if I can do it with just this. See these hardened ends? Look at that. Oh, perf. Thanks, Brian. I've got the collapsible eye needles. But you can see I can also kind of bring them back through. Emily also does this a lot. when she's closing off her macrame. And you just get a little bit of glue there on the back, because again, we'd be working on the back. There it goes. And see there, you just have to tighten it up. Let me clip this on the board. Just real quick, it's on the back, so I'm not worried about it too much. Just want to tighten it up just a touch here. My big fingers out of the way. And there we go, just like that. And you can continue to feed this back up and under a couple of your macrame stitches using the needle, or not, really. This isn't so tight that I can't get things underneath. Well, maybe it is. Should we break these? Should we break these suckers out? These guys are great. This is the collapsible eye needle, the Beetalon collapsible eye. The eye is huge, so you can get that thread right in there. And look at that. You can just slide it up and under, making sure you didn't grab any other thread. There we go, get it through there. And then we'll do this second one. A little bit of glue on the back. We'll get all of that right into place. We'll keep it all into place. And then you don't have to use a slider. So if you wanted this to look really super symmetrical, that's okay. You've got it there. Where's that end? There we go. Then let me get your friend and mine, the Zap glue. And we'll just zap that little guy closed. Get a little zap on the end of my Q-tip, or my Q-tip, my toothpick. Two different things there, not interchangeable. Add a little bit there, a little bit there. And again, I'd really let this sit before it, before I cut the tails off. But really saturate that right in there. And that seal-on is not going to go anywhere. Okay. And let's pretend that the hands of time have swept over the clock, and I would come in. How long are the hands of time, you ask? I would say I'd like to let my thread sit undisturbed 24 hours, always. But I'm just going to let that sit. You can give it a little bit of a, you know, tighten or push in, just like that. Then you can see, look at how nice. That's a great little pattern. So I could, like I was saying with this guy, we could attach a single one to wrap, you know, at the end of that. And look at how cool that goes in together, right? Just an interesting little motif on there. So it's a lot of fun. So these, the macrame stitches with the beaded, the 8/0, you can just go to town. You know, again, peruse all of our Prairie Projects, and you'll get a lot of inspiration there. I think it'll really give you a lot of inspiration to go on. The last thing I want to show you, something real quick before we wrap up. This was a Free Tip Friday that I did a while back, and such a while back that I can't even remember the date, but it was pretty early on, and you guys really loved them. And I wanted to just show you, because working with this leather, you might have a few little bits of leather left over, and I think it would look really cool like this. So what these are, you guys, I mean, you can see it. It's just strap leather glued into a slider to make rings. I made this one a little too small for my finger, but see how simple and easy that is. You could also make them bigger, you guys, so they're bangles as well. And so all you do, essentially, I think I've got a little scrap of leather here, is you just get your leather scrap. Let me see, I had one sitting here that I had cut, maybe. If I don't, I'll just use a piece of this. Whatever length it is. Let's say you've got a scrap of something. It'll be this right here. You just start by simply gluing this end in. And you just want to glue it in about halfway. You can find that Free Tip Friday episode, and I give you all kinds of cool ideas for just gluing with these, but these sliders are so fun and easy. So I would just go ahead and I'd glue that side in. And I know you have scraps of strap leather. I know you do. So I'll just come in about halfway on the side. On the other side, don't get too crazy. Be kind of mindful of where you're putting that glue. Again, I'm working from the back. Slide it in. I've gone about halfway up. I'm going to get that extra. I'm going to let that sit for just a moment before I size it. But essentially all I do is I wrap it around my finger. Figure out what size I need. If you have a ring mandrel or something like that, you could do that too. There we go. But you can see here on the back end, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see right there, it's where the leather comes together, and glue it in. And so for this one, if, as I said, you can make it bigger, and it could be a bangle like that. You could also glue these together and make, like, I don't know, interesting chain links out of them, right? You would have to do that, or I don't know, you could connect them with, I don't know, jump rings or something. But, you know, I'm going to take a quick look, Janice, and see which Free Tip Friday it was. It might have been button rings, but I don't know. I guess I should have checked before the broadcast started. Might be. Maybe it's tricks with cord. I don't know. I can look over on the blog. Let me go to the blog. The bead tape, and this needs to sit there anyway. Yeah, napkin rings would look great. You know, a great way to find a lot of our Free Tip Friday projects, if they're not up on the website as projects. I also put a lot of them on our blog as well. So if you go to our blog, the bead table, which is how I'm searching right now, and you put in Free Tip Friday in the search box, because I think I wrote a blog post about it, if I am not mistaken, and if I tagged it correctly, we may see it come up. But that is a good way. And we'll also put it in the episode notes as well. While that's drying, again, I'm just looking here real quick to see if I can see it. I know it's on here. I know it. I know it is. And there's so many. If you just put in Free Tip Friday, I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm no longer even looking for this project. All I'm looking at is all of our cool Free Tip Friday projects. So it's a great place for these guys to live. And you can scroll through post after post after post for these. Okay? And so we'll find it and put it up. But essentially it's, unless Janice is going to beat me to it, I'll look and see. But they're all up there. And essentially you need flat leather and some sliders, right? Could not get easier. So once that has all set, and I would actually let this set a little bit longer so you have so it's stable when you go ahead to size it. But that's actually on there pretty well. You just wrap it. I'm going to kind of wrap it around my knuckle here, just so I get, because your knuckle is usually your biggest part of your finger. Then you clip it, and you add your glue, and you glue it in the other side, just like that. And that's all she wrote. Look at how cool that looks. It's all done. And again, we have 1,000,001 sliders. You can do this with all the different sliders that we carry. And it'll be a fun, fast, quick project for you to work with. It's really a good one. So that's it. That is all she wrote with these. And again, if you haven't made holiday gifts for people you haven't seen yet, they won't know that you didn't make these before Christmas, right? So you could knock out a few of these as well when you're knocking out this bracelet. I know there was one request before we go to see these bracelets back on the wrist. So I'm going to go ahead, slide these over, put this on, and see if I can get this on. This is all with the 5mm leather. So you just match your leather size to the slider size, and you'll be good to go. Okay.
The bracelet with the swivel clasp, and I was surprised at how easy it is to actually do on my own.
Yeah, I like a swivel a lot, actually, though I'm having a little bit of trouble doing this on my own this very second, but I think I've got it here finally. There we go. We'll put that guy on, and you can see how it just wraps around nicely. That additional piece that I did, that might be fun to add onto this. I don't know. You decide what you want to do, but it's kind of cool. Maybe I'd put it on the other side here so it wraps. But you know, you decide what works for you. I think it's kind of fun. And then on this side, you can see everything comes together, and there's the little charm right there. Alrighty. Beaded in leather rings, free tip Friday. Great, it's there. So if that's what you look up, that's what we'll find. Perfect, awesome job, you guys. So let's go ahead and turn this sucker around, and let's end this broadcast, I guess. So I'm gonna give this to Brandywin. So forgive our kind of camera jiggle a little bit. One of the great things about our new space is we're going to have a dedicated filming studio. So hopefully when we do this kind of thing, we'll have be a little less janky when we hand the camera over. But thank you so much for sticking with us through it. So I guess that's it. Oh, and Suzanne also found it. It was 9/1/17 for Free Tip Friday, September 1st of 2017. Thank you, you guys, for finding that. I really, really appreciate it. So that's a wrap, literally, on this Facebook Live Wednesday broadcast. We still have one more tiny broadcast. Free Tip Friday will be coming at you on Friday. I've got a special little fun thing for you guys to do on Friday that will keep you busy over the New Year's holiday, especially if you're staying in. It'll be a fun thing to do. But that's it. That's literally a wrap on Facebook for this year. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us as always. Fantastic camera work to Brandywin. It's a great job. Not only does she work that camera, but she works the digital camera as well for all of the photos that go into our episode notes and stuff as well. So yeah, that's about all. I have a couple of things before we close that I wanted to share with you. Is that my printed thing? We've got so much stuff on this table, I can't see anything. Here it is. Okay. There we go. Under all of this leather. That's what happens when I do these broadcasts by myself. There's always a huge mess to contend with. We do have a fun giveaway today. And there was something I didn't really even mention. I was so excited to play with this leather that I didn't show you guys. This is the surrounded charm that Janice loves so much with her trail ride piece. I'll put that guy in there. This would also be a great addition. I was so excited about it that I forgot to show you, but that's this one here. And that kind of brings me to our giveaway today. We are having a raffle. We've got a couple of things going on. It's almost noon. It's about noon here on the West Coast. Remember, for another hour, we've got double points. So Dria's altered all of that, so you'll see those double points right into your account. And I also put together a little prize pack of like a strap leather grab bag, because those of you who haven't worked with it, or those of you that have, it's fun. We have 4 of our little evolves. We have a couple of these Celtic Waves sliders, and 2 of the surrounds are in here. And then we cut 1 meter lengths of 3 of our different leathers that I think go together beautifully. The strap, the fuchsia, and then that new one that I've been working with called, what's it, tropical something. I can't even remember. I was so excited about it. And it's not even here on my, well, I don't know. We can look for it. But it's this guy, this one that I was using, Tropical Thunder, Tropical, what's that one?
Forest.
Forest! Thanks, Cara! Like, who are you guys? Who am I? What are we doing here? So it carries, we've got 1 meter each of all of those. So that one lucky winner who places their order between right now and the about 1 o'clock Pacific time, if you put in your notes, wrap it up, we will do a quick little drawing at random, and one of you will get this little prize package thrown in your order. Also, you guys do know what's going on right here. We've got our store-wide sale, Wonderland 20. Everything is all 20% off, as according to our slider on our front page. So there's all kinds of stuff happening. That special store-wide sale goes actually through the end of the month, so you've got plenty of time to do some shopping there. So, so that's it, you guys. Wrap it up in your notes. Double points for another hour. Our homepage sale. There's so much happening. So I will see you. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys on Friday for a quick and fun Free Tip Friday. Have a fantastic Wednesday, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.